this video, I want to do a few videos, just talking about things and doing different things. I've got some ideas. Like, one thing I would like to do is like see how far you can drive on £5 worth of petrol, and just do different challenges and different things. And obviously, because I haven't got a big collection like some YouTubers I watch, like John Coupland, Matt at Furious Driving. They've got like over 20 cars. I've got 10 cars, so there's a big difference. But there's things obviously with owning that amount of cars that you have to do. So I'm going to do some different videos on different things, and obviously some different challenges, like I said, with how far can you get on £5 worth of fuel, and do some different things like that. But obviously it's going to take time to do them videos. But in today's video, I want to talk about what it costs to run a classic car, because a lot of us in the UK have got a classic car as a weekend car. You know, just obviously it's an enjoyment. Obviously, like myself, like I said, I've got 10 cars. I love cars. I've been around cars all my life. I'm just passionate about cars, and I've always wanted my own little car collection. Obviously, there's some stuff in my collection that's not going to be staying, and some stuff that will go, and then some stuff that will come. But obviously, in this video, we're just going to talk about what it costs to run a classic car, weekend toy, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to talk about the MR2. I could talk about the Golf, but we'll talk about the MR2. So the first thing is insurance. Obviously, you need insurance to drive a car on the UK roads. Obviously, if you don't have it and you get caught by the police or whatever, you're going to get your car taken off you. Now, my insurance, obviously on the MR2, I have a joint policy between that and the Golf. So the total cost is £417 for the year. So if you divide that by 2, now the Golf could be cheaper to insure than the MR2 because that's got more no claims on it, or the MR2 could actually be cheaper to insure than the Golf. I'm not too sure. I can't see that on the policy I've got. But if you divide that cost by 2, it works out at £208.45. So obviously I've divided the 417 by 2, or £416.90 to be precise. That works out to £208.45 to obviously insure the car for the year on the road. Now, the next thing, obviously, you're going to need to drive a car on the UK roads is road tax. Now, before I talk about what it costs for the road tax on the MR2, I'm going to say something, and obviously if I'm wrong, people are going to say in the comments. But let me know your opinions, obviously, if you come across this video, and what you think. Road tax, I think, is basically the biggest, well, what's the right word to use? I just think it's the biggest con out there, basically. Now, let me put it into perspective, if that's the right word. So, obviously, as you know, I've got 10 vehicles. I've got 2 cars that basically I use as dailies, if you like. Now, both them cars are £200. One's £200, one's £225, I think, to tax for the year. Now, the MR2, which is obviously the one we're talking about, is £31.50 a month to tax, because obviously I pay it by direct debit, which works out to £378 a year. And the Golf Cabriolet, when I've got that tax, is, I think it's £1 more a month to tax. So I think that works out at just under £400 a year. So currently at the moment I've got all 4 of them taxed. So I'm paying like probably £1,200 a year in road tax, £1,000, £1,200 a year in road tax. And some people only, I mean, obviously they've changed the tax categories now, where I don't think anyone gets free road tax, unless obviously you got disabled road tax. But I could be wrong. Obviously, if I'm wrong, and the people that know more about this sort of thing will say in the videos. So we'll say in the comment of the video. So I just think that if they did the thing where you paid per mile on the road tax, that probably would be good in some respects, because obviously with a classic car like with the MR2, you can look at the reg, you can check on the MOT issue on the reg. Obviously, since it's been MOT since I've had it, the first year I did over 1,000 kilometres, so obviously it's in kilometres on this. Last year I only did 400 kilometres, so I'm paying all that money in road tax for the little mileage that it actually does. But then obviously some people like only pay £20 and they're doing like say 10,000 miles a year, which obviously they're paying something to have their car on the UK road, but then some people are paying more to have their car on the road, and the roads are not any better for it. The roads are in fact probably worse, the worse they have been, with potholes and stuff, and that's my opinion on it anyway. I mean, I'm sure obviously if people disagree they're going to put in the comments below, but I just think road tax is just basically a con. It's just one big expense, and I think it's unfair that in some respects, alright, obviously I choose to have these cars, but people are paying more to have their vehicles on the road than some people that are obviously paying like £20, which obviously I'm not complaining. Obviously like my partner's car's only £20 a year to tax, but I just think road tax is a big con. But anyway, that's my opinion on it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. The next thing, obviously, to have my car on the UK road, obviously because none of my cars are MOT or tax exempt, because I think you have to be 40 years older or 40 years or older to class for that. The next thing is MOT. Now, obviously there's a lot of MOT stations out there, and some people will pay less than this and some people will pay more. I use the MOT station that my dad used when he had his garage workshop, and the price I pay for the MOT is £45, and I use them because obviously I've known them all my life basically, and they obviously know me quite well, and they know that I look after my cars, and you know, sometimes it's hard to see things, but if I haven't seen some, they know basically I'm on top of my car, so they obviously MOT the car. And sometimes like with the Peugeot 107, if you remember, it failed, but they know that I will sort the issues out, and they obviously are very good with me, and obviously I just continue to use the MOT station because they're a good place to go to. But yeah, some people will pay less than that and some people will pay more, but I pay £45 for my MOT, and obviously I've got a lot of cars. So the next thing is obviously maintenance. Now there's going to be things on top of this that obviously have been done, like on the MR2 it's had brakes and stuff, and since the time I've owned it, and obviously other things. Every year, regardless of mileage, I do an oil and oil filter change, because obviously with them just being moved about a lot of the time, it's not good for the engine oil and stuff. So for the price of a bottle of oil, I just change the oil. So I buy my oil in bulk. Now I've divided this by 4, so I paid £54.78 for 20 litres of 10W40 engine oil. So if you divide that by 4, it works out to £13.70. So it cost me £13.70 for the engine oil for the MR2. And the oil filters I buy in bulk, which are £11.29, which works out divided by 4 at £2.83 each. So if you add that up, it's what is it, about £16 a year to do an oil change on the car. £16.50 something a year to do an oil change on the car, which I just think's worth it. Keeps the car going, looks after the car. Obviously I'm not including any other maintenance, because like the MR2 I haven't done anything really other than change the engine oil on it for the last 2 years. So yeah, that's basically a breakdown of what it costs to run my classic car. What I will do is I'll put the figures on the screen now so you can see them. Obviously I've spoken about them, but I'll put them on the screen so you can see them if you want to obviously see what we've just been talking about. So yeah, I just wanted to do a couple of videos like this, and yeah, that's basically this one done. Obviously let me know what you think when it comes to road tax and stuff and insurance and anything, and let me know if I've missed anything off that list that I should have included on it. But that's it for this video, and thanks for watching.